everyone, Dori Acampora here with Integrity Sports Consulting. We work with athletes and programs and coaches on the mental aspects of various sports like baseball or soccer and of course cheerleading. So today I'm going to talk to you about some tips and tricks that you can use to master the mental game that is cheerleading. Now, cheerleading is a very mental sport. As most of you know, there's a really large mental aspect to competition and also to practicing, so getting new skills. So today, again, we're going to talk about a couple of really easy tips to mastering your mental state when you're cheerleading. So the first thing I want to talk about is your coach. And I'm not talking about your team coach, I'm talking about your other coach. Your inner coach. Sometimes people will call it your inner voice. And I talk to cheerleaders all the time and I ask them, who's hardest on you? And a lot of them will say, oh, well, my coach is really hard on me. And the person that they're really talking about isn't necessarily their team coach, but it's themselves. It's their inner coach. Because a lot of times, no matter how hard your coach is on you, many times we are harder on ourselves. And the thing that is talking to us is our inner voice. And that inner voice sometimes can be negative, right? So we have a positive inner voice and we have a negative inner voice. And a lot of times that inner voice, we can feel it versus hear it. So it won't necessarily be something like where your inner voice is saying to you, oh, it's actually talking to you. But sometimes when our inner voice is negative, we can feel it with sensations in our body. So like we're at a competition and we're a little afraid or we're a little nervous and our inner voice starts talking to us and we can hear it by recognizing things like, oh, I have a stomach ache, or, oh, like I'm sweating a lot. My heart's beating really fast. Those things are happening as our inner voice is talking to us and saying things like, oh, my God, there's a lot of people watching. Oh, I'm not really sure I'm going to be able to, throw that tumble pass. That's our inner voice. So what can we do when our inner voice is negative to turn it positive? Now, there's a trick that I like to use, and it's actually a word. And this word was coined by Carol Dweck, who some of you might know as the researcher who came up with growth mindset. The word is niet. Niet. Okay, I can hear it already. Some of you are saying, Dori, niet's not a word. That's not a real word. And that's true. It's not a real word. But what niet stands for is not yet. And how I use this is that when my inner voice starts to go negative, I start saying things to myself like, oh, I can't do that. But when I add the word yet, it turns my negative into a positive. So, example, for me right now, I'm at home with my kids and I'm helping them with algebra. And I am terrible at algebra. And it's very frustrating that I cannot do this math problem. I can't do it. I cannot do algebra. Or I add the word yet. Well, I can't do that problem yet. Okay, well, that changes things a little bit. Now it's not that I can't do something. It's just that I just have to read it a couple more times or I have to work on it a little more because algebra doesn't come easy to me. And I know that, but I know I can do it because I've done algebra before, but I can't do it yet. Okay, so yet, this is my trick. We add the word yet. So how do we do this in cheerleading? And then also maybe take some of these ideas and use them while we're at home. So here's a couple of examples. When you're practicing and you go to practice and you have your tuck and it's awesome, but maybe you've had a bad day, maybe your ride didn't show up or you had a bad day at school or whatever else is going on, and all of a sudden you can't throw the tuck. And then you're getting frustrated and oh no, what am I going to do? I can't do my tuck. Okay, well, change that, add the word yet. I can't do my tuck yet. Maybe I just need to go to the tumble track for a little while or go to the bathroom and relax a little bit, have some water, try to get calm. I can't do it yet. Or maybe that's a skill you've been working on for a really long time and it just hasn't been coming easy to you. Your negative self-talk is coming in. I can't do my tuck. Okay, we'll change it. I can't do my tuck yet. I'll get there, because you will. So here's another one. My flyer doesn't trust me. So maybe you have a new flyer, or you have a new stunt team, you're a new base in a stunt team, and things just aren't grooving, and you're not together quite yet because your old flyer flew very differently, and my flyer doesn't trust me. So change that, and we say, my flyer doesn't trust me yet, because again, I know after a while, we're going to work on it, and we're going to get there. How about this one? I'm not in jumps. I'm not in jumps. My coach won't put me in jumps. I think my jumps are great, and my coach won't put me in jumps. Okay, well, I'm not in jumps yet, because again, maybe I have to work on my jumps a little bit more. Maybe there's another reason why I'm not in jumps, but I'm not in jumps yet. And if it's something I really, really want to do, if I keep working on it, maybe I'll get put in jumps. So I'm not in jumps yet. And then I drew a line here because this is one that, again, I just talked about with myself, that we're using outside the gym right now. I can't do the math problem. So it's very frustrating. I can't do the math problem yet. So you see how that works? Just by adding that little word yet into the statement, it turns our negative self-talk into a positive. So again, to turn the negative self-talk into positive self-talk, we just use the trick of adding the word yet. And that's it. And that's my little tip of the day. Thanks a lot, you guys. We'll go through some more tips and tricks to mastering the mental game of cheer soon.